we're back with Krysten Peek. KP, this is your time of year. The draft is upon us. The draft order was established yesterday. Thank goodness I was not there, or else the pitchforks would have been out from Detroit Pistons fans who would have called me a jinx. We'll get to that later. But the first 4 picks were announced, rather, the order. The Hawks, the Wizards, the Rockets, and the Spurs at 4. KP, let's start with number 1. Is this an Alex Sarr draft for everybody, or is this just the guy that's going to be picked number 1?
I don't know if this is an anybody draft. It was so weird being in the room. I wasn't in the actual lottery room, but where the broadcast was taking place. And I've been the last 4 or 5 years. And, last year, the energy, you could feel it. You could feel the energy. This year, I mean, the Hawks win the lottery pick for the first time in franchise history. They're going to have the number 1 pick for the first time since 1975. And no one really seemed to care. And so when you say, yes, this is an Alex Sarr draft, he probably is the best prospect at number 1. You are sandwiched in between a Victor Wembanyama draft and a Cooper Flag draft next year that's coming up. So there wasn't that necessarily like tanking excitement that we felt last year. I don't think it's going to be the same next year. We did it at 2 p.m. on a Sunday during Mother's Day instead of prime time on a Tuesday at 7 p.m. And so there was just a lot of different varieties. But if I'm the Atlanta Hawks and I decide to keep that pick at number 1, I'm probably taking Alex Sarr.
I mean, the crazy thing, KP, is that everybody's talking about bad draft. Let's get out of the first 4 picks. Okay, that's cool. You got to find somebody to take those picks because they know the same things you do, which brings us to the Washington Wizards. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. And, Washington Wizards, they had success drafting Bilal Coulibaly last year, the 6'8" defensive wing who played with Victor Wembanyama in France. And this year, sitting at 2, the second best prospect, I think, in the draft is another French wing, Zachary Richichet. And there is not, Washington Wizards fans are like, we don't want him. Why don't you want him? He's shooting 40%. He's 6'8", 6'9", one of the best defensive wings in France right now. His task is guarding the best player on opposing teams, players that are sometimes twice his age. Why wouldn't you want that? I don't understand this notion with teams and fans saying, oh, we already have that. Look what OKC did. The way they decided to rebuild is they went out and they got Shea, they drafted Josh Giddey, and then they got a ton of 6'7" plus wing players, playmakers, defensive versatility guys to kind of slide in alongside them. So you never know which way they're going to go. It's very unpredictable. So I don't mind Richichet at number 2, but I know Wizard fans are too hyped about it.
Look, trusting Washington Wizards fans, what do they know about what's good for them? They've never seen good basketball for as long as that team's name has been the Washington Wizards, okay? Like they were going to move to Virginia a couple weeks ago. So I'm not really, shall we say, bullish on the former Bullets fans. All right. Now, can I say the name Zachary Richichet 5 times fast? No, because I barely just said it one time. Did I get it right?
You did. Yeah. I'm sure he'll come over here and we've all been saying it wrong the entire year, but that's how I know to say it.
Okay, cool. So now we might get an American-born player at number 3 with the Houston Rockets. And you've been taking a little bit of flack from the Rockets fans for your projections here. So I will give you the floor to defend yourself.
At number 3, I have Donovan Clinton, the 7'2" center out of UConn, who, when 100% healthy, is the defensive anchor for the 2-time defending UConn Huskies. So at number 3, I'm looking at what has Houston invested in the last few drafts. Amen Thompson last year, Jalen Green, Jabari Smith. Yes, at number 3, I've seen other names shoot up like Modest Buzelis, the 6'8" G League Ignite, maybe Ron Holland, another 6'8", 6'9" versatile wing. But if you are going to be successful in the Western Conference, what we're seeing Minnesota do, where they have 2 7-foot-plus bigs to try to slow down Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets, I think this is a fine pick, and you know exactly what you're getting, especially in a draft that's all over the place. Donovan Clinton, after Alex Sarr, is the defensive anchor that any franchise would want with the way he can defend and also his footwork. Like, he moves a lot better than you think for someone 7'2", a lot better than Zach Edey, like we saw in the championship game. And he has a little bit of mobility to his pick and pop and room to develop. He was only a sophomore. He's very young. I wouldn't mind slipping him in the front court alongside Alpi. So I don't know, like, who do you want, Rockets fans? Who do you want at 3? You don't want someone to come in and anchor your defense and be able to compete in the Western Conference. You want Reed Shepherd. You want another guard. You want Ron Holland, who needs the ball in his hands to be effective. I think it's a fine pick and something that they're going to consider.
Well, I mean, look, the fact that KP, we thought Ron Holland might have been the number 1 pick, and he's nowhere near the top 4, just shows how topsy-turvy, the top 4 picks are. But I feel like I've seen a run of Nicolas. For a while, we had a run on Jalen's, right? Now we got a run on Nicolas that brings us to the San Antonio Spurs.
San Antonio Spurs, honestly, like, I think, they won the big draft last year. I think they were big winners in this draft because it gives them a little wiggle room with 2 lottery picks, first picking at number 4 and then again at number 8. And if they decide to keep the picks, what they need more than anything is playmaking. And Nikola Topic, he's like a Serbian Josh Giddey. He's 6'6". He's still playing. He got called up to the EuroLeague and, is playing very effective, very well. One of the best passers, averaging nearly 5 assists per game, for his Serbian team. And so at 4, I think he's a great option there. A lot of people also like Rob Dillingham, the 6'1" point guard who came off the bench from Kentucky, who's just super shifty. And you see Dilly and Wimby kind of teaming up, but I think he could be there at 8. So if you are the Spurs and you want to roll the dice and try to get a playmaker, why not take both of them? Why not take whoever you prefer at number 4? And then at number 8, if you want a wing, I saw someone say, oh, Julian Champagne is right now our small forward that we have. Well, then are you not going to try to make it work with Wimby? I would take both of them. I would take Topic at 4 and Dillingham at 8 if he's there, or Reed Shepherd or another playmaker, just to try to get him as many touches on offense as possible.